So I came across an article, and it was a woman was charged with having sex with up to 9 minors, boys between 14 and 17, and she was bribing them by giving them vape pens. And the comment section was just ripe with the very ignorant statement, "Where were these teachers when I was a kid?" Um, I think everybody can admit at some point, you may have had a crush on a teacher, but there's a difference between having a crush, possibly fantasizing about something, and actually being bribed and manipulated into it. It's way different. And if we were to flip this narrative and say that there was a man charged with having this much sex with underage girls, we would have our pitchforks and torches out. And I don't know of a woman that would say, "Hey, where were these teachers when I was a kid?" And I don't know of a father who would say that, "Hey, good for my daughter. She's out there getting some." It's ridiculous. I understand it's a difference in in expectations as far as sexual conquest, but if we're honest with ourselves, you're not ready for sex at those ages. And even if you're having it, it still will have a longer lasting effect on you, and not always to the positive. Most of the times, it's not giving you any added advantage in life. So especially when you're talking about with an adult, it's a sad narrative. It's kind of a real toxic thought. Not only that we are, half of the or a portion of the population is focusing on what the I'll call them victims or survivors, what they have endured, whether they, and apparently these boys were bragging about it, whatever. It still doesn't mean that it's right, just because the boys at this point in time don't realize the damage that may have been caused to them long term. Um, and I'm sure there's been cases where a girl, fell in with a teacher or professor, and she went off and told her girlfriends a thing. That's what kids do. That's what people do when they have a secret or something that it may not necessarily even be that they're celebrating it. It may be just a weird way of saying, "This happened to me." So it doesn't mean that it's always celebratory. It easily could mean this is their unknowing, unconscious cry for help. "Hey, this happened." And bragging about something is paramount to a boxer getting hit with a really good shot and shaking his head and say, "No, it didn't hurt." Yes, it did. It's a telltale sign. So a lot of times we tip our hands with things that happen to us, even though we act as if it wasn't as detrimental as it actually was. Um, I don't even have like a specific point to this. It's sad. And guys, you got to stop with that nonsense. It's a different day, it's a different age to say, "Where were these teachers when I was a kid?" um, I don't think you would have enjoyed it as much as you think that you would have. It doesn't make men nowadays soft for wanting better for children, and to see actual pedophiles and criminals put away. Not only was she having sex with them, but she was giving them something that they shouldn't have had possession in the first place. So there's multiple counts for that. Let's not celebrate that or wish that it had happened to us or wish it upon other children, just because they happen to be men. I'm going to leave it at that. Um, we we can do better in so many different ways. So um, this is one of them, and there's just so many topics across the board in the world that I don't know. I just had to stop and talk on this one. This is said as somebody who's never had to face these sort of things or deal with these sort of things from my childhood, but it's still, you don't have to go through something to recognize it as wrong. Peace, love, unity, solidarity. No?